Yes, it's happening. It's happening as well. So it's
Yeah,
recording and transcript.
such that we can actually get a good summary of the discussion.
Okay. Thank you. I know some more folks are joining us, but I think we can't keep waiting. It's already almost 10 minutes past the stipulated time. Okay, so I think so. Welcome everybody to the briefing session. So this is supposed to be, we're hoping we can get through this within an hour or less than an hour, and it's just focused obviously on the second phase of the FCDO project. But before I continue, I want to call on Professor Keksempo to welcome everybody and to give some brief remarks with respect to how we proceed. Then we can obviously progress from there. So over to you, Prof.
Thank you, Akan, and good evening, everyone. And let me start by thanking everyone for giving up their time um, so quite late in the evening after probably a very hard day at work. And I hope some of you have managed to have some dinner prior to this. If not, I hope you have a nice dinner lined up after this. Anyway, yes, so welcome and thank you. Akan has asked me to basically just introduce this. So, as you will all know, um, we had a very successful interaction initially with the FCDO to win some funding to enable us to engage with the 14 Nigerian universities linked to this project, thinking about career development and entrepreneurial thinking in scientists and academics and students. And we were lucky enough to gather an a very impressive and very extensive data set from all of your hard work over the course of the project, which, you know, to be fair, was actually very, very intense. And again, we thank you so much for all of your efforts in making it the project the success that it clearly became. Anyway, we presented the information to the FCDO earlier this year, and also Akan has presented, Akan and Dr. Viola have presented the information to other groups as well. All of which has been met with enthusiasm and excitement around the outcome of the first phase of the project. And I guess we were lucky enough to continue discussions with the FCDO with the suggestion that we would like to continue to develop the work set out in the first project of which you were all involved in, to continue to engage with your universities across Nigeria, and of course with you, the staff, and of course the students as well. And we were lucky enough to convince, and it didn't take much convincing because they were so impressed by what folks had done, that they've agreed to support a second phase of the project, which will run for about a year, actually. Now, as I said before, we really have appreciated and we really continue to appreciate everyone's efforts with the first part of the project, because you know it was hard work. There was a lot being asked of you, and you know, you came through with flying colours. It was amazing, and I think it was because of that, to a large extent, that the FCDO were so impressed and wanted to continue to work in this way with us. So here we are. We've managed to convince FCDO to continue to work with us, and we're very, very excited to continue the association with all of you as colleagues on this project. and to really to drive home some of the really meaningful aims and objectives, and hopefully the impactful outcomes to really cement the objectives, the outcomes of our working together within your universities. So I think on that I probably said way too much, and I'll hand back to Akan to continue on with the meeting. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Prof. Much appreciated. And so please, as you guys, as you proceed, please, do feel free to drop any comments or questions, especially questions and remarks on the chat section, and Dr. Vala will pick those up. So just what I want to do quickly is, we've already had a briefing session with the university coordinators, so they have a clear idea of what we're trying to achieve. So this session is more like incorporating or kind of bringing on board the other potential participants for the phase two. And just to kind of set a premise before I introduce Dr. Viola, who is mostly leading this session, is just a very high level overview of what phase two would actually covers. The first one that it covers is publication. So Professor Sempo just mentioned that we gathered an incredible, I mean, I'm using the word incredible. You don't understand what I mean until you see what we've collected. Incredible amount of data. And when you hear of data, what data means is papers publication, books publication, articles publication, and on and on and on. So there's a lot of that that's going to happen in phase two. So it means that there's an opportunity for participants, whether you're in the intervention group or the control, to be co-authors, authors, contributors, editors, supporters on this in this phase two. Just it's basically expanding your participation. So I know for a fact that many people, based on the data we gathered, got lots of impact from the project. But this is now taking it to the next level. So obviously you got impact. We can just say, well, thank you very much. I hope you keep doing what you learned and impacting your lives and careers. But we're saying no, it's not enough. We want to actually still expand your leverage and your profile through publications and communications. That's the first level for this phase two. Now, the second level is institutional alignment. So that means that Lancaster University and the senior management of the 14 university partners getting around to the table to discuss better collaboration and how can they expand the impact to their regions, to their university folks, and to other folks who couldn't join the pilots. That's the second big chunk of work for this phase two. Then the third one now involves actually delivering the program yet again to some staff and students. I think from our estimate, we have about 100 students and 50 staff for each university. So we're going to deliver it again, just the way we delivered it in the pilot phase, to 100 more students and 50 staff members in your university, both for the obviously the SETS program and the ICCP program. And the job of the coordinators or their role is to support us in nominating this 100 new students and 50 staff members to go on the program. That won't start till July, so we still have some time to play with. Then the final one, obviously, is how can we align with the NUC at that very national level to make it a policy initiative so that not only are we focused on working with the 14 universities we began the project with, but now we are also focused on the potential to roll it out across the country. So those fundamentally are the four phases, four levels of the phase two. First and foremost is publication and communication. Secondly is institutional alignment. So working with the management of your university, so vice chancellors and so on. And then number three is actual delivery of the program again to a new set of people. Then finally is national policy alignment. Those are the four levels. So, but for now, the other levels is being driven by obviously the internal partners within the project. But what basically concerns the other participants for me and for us is the publications and communication part of the project. For the other ones, like whether it's institution alignment or national government alignment, or even releasing the programs to new people, we are working with the university coordinators for that to happen. And they are being briefed as at when due, so they can prepare and we can make it happen together. But for the purpose of this session, what is most important now to all participants is to help everybody get on the list of supporting the publication of these different papers and chapters and books, whatever it is, that we were going to put together and publish on the back of the incredible and comprehensive data that was gathered from phase one. So that gives an overview of what we are hoping to achieve in phase two. Let me, before I pass over to Professor Dr. Laura Viola, any questions, please? Any questions or any comments? Then I can pass it over to her.
That are not here. They can't come because there's no.
Please, could you mute? Make sure you mute yourself. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So, if there are no questions or comments, I'm going to pass over to Dr. Viola Akigbe to kind of take us through the strategy for the communications and publication. Yes, yes, go on.
Hello, sir.
Mr. Okechukwu, yes, proceed, please.
Just to confirm that this time around there will be no control group and all that.
Yes, no data. You're absolutely correct. No data gathering, no control group. It's just receiving the program. That's it. It's straightforward. Okay. If I were to just add that extra level, so we can now use the opportunity for the university leads and those who benefited from the pilot to now be the ones helping deliver this next program. So that was intentional. So we can have some capacity in the universities to deliver and manage the program on your own, which wasn't the case in the pilot. So there's no control, there's no data gathering and so on. It's just take the program and enjoy it. Does that help? Does that answer your question, sir?
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Any other questions, please? Please be open about this. So just ask any question, or you can pop it in the chat. I'll pick it up before I invite Dr. Viola. Okay, so I'm hoping that maybe that will come up as we progress. So I'm going to hand over to Dr. Viola to just take us through the comprehensive strategy. And I'm sure you are aware, we've already shared the documentations, but this session was called as a basis to respond to questions. And I mean, she should know what to do. Over to you, Doc. Thank you.
You're on mute, Dr.
You're on mute, Doc. Sorry. Yes, you are.
Oh, sorry.
That's better now.
Hello,
thank you.
That's much better.
All right.
Hello, entrepreneur academics. It's good to be on this call, to have this session. We've been interacting with a few people, but it's good that we are coming together again. Okay, so I'll go through the publication aspect very briefly. You know, SETS, Stimulating Sustainable Entrepreneurial Thinking Scientists, is the essence is the sustainability of the impact, not just that there is impact. So evaluation is a key component in the SET program, and the evaluation continues. So previously, we've been submitting Google Forms, and there's information here and there, bits of this here and there, mostly quantitative, a bit of details. But what we want to do right now is we want to find a way to go deeper. Qualitative evaluation is just as valid and helps to support whatever quantitative data we have. So this time around, we don't want to do come and give us bits here and there. We want to do an in-depth investigation into how SET has been impacting, not just during the program or immediately after the program, but till date. So some people have finished, some people received their program in the intervention phase, some people in the control phase. It's been several months. What has happened between then and now? Have you sustained the progress? Has impact been sustained? Are you still experiencing transformations? The things you started doing during SET, are you still doing them? But this time around, we want stories that are relatable. We want stories that people can read and they themselves become inspired. We want to be able to position SET fellows, not just as participants who receive the program, but having become experts on the subject of career and entrepreneurial development. And so what we are doing this time around is beyond the Google Forms, beyond posting on LinkedIn, for many of the things we are doing, we've shared many of these stories before. We've shared many of these insights, maybe some maybe new stories, new things happening. But this time around, we want to be able to bring together our thoughts, package our stories, our transformation stories in such a way that somebody who maybe may not have heard of SET before Somebody somewhere who is lost has not had the opportunity to go through sets. Somebody somewhere who is just being introduced to the concept can read up case studies, this person's story, that person's story, that person's story, and all together begins to get some sense of direction with regards to their own entrepreneurial journey. And so really that's what we are trying to do here. So for this particular evaluation exercise, we are taking original stories, the real stories you have, the reflections on your journey, what you did, how sets impacted you across the various themes. If you recall, during the program, we had 3 live sessions, we had some videos, all targeted at specific topics to transform us in specific areas. So for this one, we have identified 10 themes on sets, areas that we are sure that people can give us real stories. We have experienced these things in the past, and we have had people, even after the program ended, people are still putting up LinkedIn posts. They tag us, they share experiences with us. Some of them share their personal story. They send us on WhatsApp, oh, this has happened, that has happened, this and that. But you see, the real deal for an expert, for an authority, is that you can package what you know and somebody else can benefit from it. You become an expert on the topic, you become an authority on the topic, somebody else can learn from you that which you have learned for yourself. So basically the 10 themes you have identified, we provided in the document that was sent to the WhatsApp groups. I'll quickly go through them just to have an idea of what each theme should, your story should focus on. Firstly, we have, if you've been able to incorporate entrepreneurship via innovative or entrepreneurial teaching. For a lot of people, their mode of teaching has changed. It's a fact. The content, the methodology, the direction, the focus, how they deliberately incorporate entrepreneurial thinking or entrepreneurship or career thinking into their regular courses, into special programs, whichever way you've been able to do it, we want that story. We want to know, how exactly have you done this? What did you do? What challenges did you encounter? How did you progress? At what point during sets did it dawn on you that, you know what, I can actually do this. I can make this difference. I can, do things differently. We want those kind of stories. I remember the questions from the Google form evaluation correspond to the assignments that we did throughout the SET program. So we want the aspect of the assignment. We want the aspect from the Google form. Give us the details, how that whole enterprise went. What transformations have you experienced? What is the impact on your students? What are people saying about it? What do you want to do next? How do you want to take it forward? We want that entire story, very well put together. The second thing, incorporating employability. The first one is incorporating entrepreneurship, and the second one is incorporating employability. For entrepreneurship, for instance, I can tell you for a fact, I know somebody on one of our SET fellows. She's constantly posting LinkedIn, doing LinkedIn posts back to back. Oh, this student is now into fashion. This student is now into business. This one is now into computer. This one now has a farm. This one had, these are the kind of things. She has practically turned her entire class into entrepreneurial students. So that kind of story, we want it. If you are the one that you've been able to impact your students by employability, you've been able to guide them on how to write CVs, on how to find jobs, and how to apply for this and that, whatever way you've been able to incorporate employability, and it's producing results. You can see it tangible. Students are acknowledging your work. People are celebrating your work. We want the whole world to see your work. We want the whole world to realize that something fantastic has happened to these people. So that's theme 2. For theme 3, we are looking at accessing funding for entrepreneurial impact. Whether you have won grants, people have won grants. We've heard the stories. People have won scholarships. People have won fellowships. People have won all kinds of money for all kinds of things. If you're in that category, you know that you have a hot sizzling story about how you have won one money or the other, even though you didn't call us to share the money. No problem. We want your story. Package your story powerfully. We are already used to publishing, so it's not supposed to be an issue. We just want it in a way that, you move from being participant on sets to experts that came out from sets. It's a whole new dimension. So we want those stories. How did the money crew assignment help? How did the money spreadsheet help? How did, what did you do? How did you go about finding the funding cause? Who did you call? Who did you contact? Who supported you? What were the challenges? How can somebody else learn from your journey? That's the whole essence. Theme 4, exploring strategic partnerships beyond academia. You know, we said connect with industry. There was a particular assignment on that, connect with NGO, do a LinkedIn post. We want to know how those things have yielded results for you. Have you executed a project because of some kind of partnerships? Have you explored some dimensions that you did not even think were possible previously? Have you connected with people that have opened up opportunities for you? What has happened in that area? We want those stories. Number 5, commercializing expertise. Whether it's by way of venture, setting up a business, or you have IP. I know somebody who got one recently. She shared it on LinkedIn. We are celebrating her. Whether it is a professional training that you now do, money is coming in. You have been able to convert what ordinarily was, something you just do on campus, or something you do by the side, or something you have never even done before. And now money is coming in one way or the other via commercializing what you know. We want those stories. We want to know how you did it. We want somebody else who is there thinking, how do I even start? Where do I begin from? Who do I contact? How do I move from point A to point B? We want people to be able to learn from our journeys. So we want those stories. We want, again, theme 6, stories on borderless multidisciplinary partnerships. We are academics. We are used to publishing papers and collaborating. But from set, people have started collaborating to do research with people from other disciplines, other geographical locations. People are collaborating to write papers. I know another set fellow. Constantly, oh, my new research, da. She's constantly sharing research on sets. So if you also have those kind of stories, that when it comes to academic collaborations, forget it. You know that the whole world needs to hear what has happened in your life. The whole world needs to be inspired by your story, by your journey. We want those stories. How did you do it? At what point during the STEP program did it connect? What first steps did you take? Who did you reach out to? What were the roadblocks? How can somebody else navigate that kind of terrain? How can they find academic mentors to help them on that kind of journey? Those kind of stories, we want those stories. The next one, communicating entrepreneurial thinking and actions. Sharing research on sets was one of the ways we focus on regarding communicating entrepreneurial actions. But if you recall, in the Google form that we've been filling, we have no less than 10 avenues by which you can communicate your entrepreneurial actions. So go back to your Google form, the ones you have filled. Think through how you have progressed since the SET program started to date. What areas have you explored? Beyond journal papers, books, television, documentaries, news magazines, LinkedIn posts, all kinds of, whatever the avenue may be. If you have started on something that you know what, it's because of SET I've been able to explore these new dimensions. I know somebody, for instance, one of our SET fellows, she started a YouTube channel because of SETs. So we want to hear those things very well packaged. The story should be that when people are reading the stories, they are blown away. They realize that, you know what, I can do this too. I can do this. So that's what we want. We want those stories. How did the program help? What challenges have you encountered? What has been the success stories? How can other people learn from your journey? And if you have taken it to the extent of university policies, we want to hear that. For some people, they're already doing things to help their universities incorporate entrepreneurship and employability at a higher level beyond their classrooms. We want those stories. Okay. Number 9, aligning careers with SDGs. Both in the Google form and in your assignment, we asked you about whether your careers are aligned with SDGs. whether you mention those things in your CV, whether you've been doing things that are aligned with SDGs. Have you partnered with anyone? Have you executed projects that are clearly helping to achieve the SDGs? In whatever area you have been able to walk around SDG. You know, this is a hot thing. We want people to realize that SDG is not in a document. It's a living thing, and people are doing things. If you are one of them and you have a powerful story in that area, we want your story. Finally, career equilibrium. So many people have shared testimonies of how they've been able to balance and find peace in their lives simply by exploring things beyond their core academic functions. I know a prof that started writing that has that published poetry books, part of career equilibrium. If you're doing, I know somebody who started an advocacy, one of our set fellows, is part of career equilibrium. Whatever area in whatever way you've been able to find that balance, we want you to position yourself as an authority to help educate others, to help inspire others on a thing like this, on a very critical dimension like this, so that we can't do everything. We can teach everybody. We can't make carry out interventions for everybody. Now we are core workers in this enterprise. You are no longer a participant. You too, you are now an expert. So this is the time, and publishing is one of the most powerful ways to establish, to validate your expertise. If you have a powerful story in any of these areas, we want those stories. We want to be able to inspire people beyond just identifying how you have been inspired. So that's why we are doing this in a different way this time around. Now, the thing is, not everybody may have a powerful story in each of these 10 areas, and that is fine. You recall when we started the program, we identified dimensions of entrepreneurial thinking, and we said that even if it's only 5 areas that you want to focus on, you can focus on those areas. Even if it's 7 areas, if it is 3 areas. So in whatever areas that you know, that you're sure that, look, my transformation has been so phenomenal, so powerful, the whole world needs to hear this. You can focus on that area. So even though you have the opportunity of 10 things, you can decide, you know what, my key strengths are in 5. I want to focus on these 5. Focus on the areas that you have comparative advantage, that we are sure that you can get in. Now, remember, it is first 50, top 50. Remember when we did first 10, top 10 on sets? The whole idea was we wanted to be able to celebrate the first 10 people to meet our criteria for the assignments. This time around, we want to be able to showcase the first 50 that meet the criteria. The first 50 people who come in with powerful stories that can shake the world, that can inspire people, that can help us see the true impact of what we've been doing. A Google form can give you bits and bits of information, but case studies, real stories that are relatable, that have context, that have depth, are powerful ways to actually change lives. And so that is what we are trying to focus on this time around. So for your contributions, we said you have a maximum of 10 things, but you don't have to write on the 10. Write on the areas that you have strengths, that your stories are powerful, that when we are reading it page by page, we can't drop the book. Those are the kind of things we want. In addition to your own stories, you also have the opportunity to collaborate with ICCP fellows on your stories. Now, the same way you are sharing your own stories of transformation, they also have been transformed.
Who are the people that are there?
Only 14 years.
Hello? The ICCP fellows are students that took the ICCP program. The same way you took SETS, they took ICCP. The 2 programs were running concurrently. So there's been fantastic, phenomenal stories of transformation from the students. But many of them, if not most, may never have published anything before. We are the ones that have experience in publishing. So what we have tried to do is, strategic partnership is one of the key elements of career progression. So we decided to use this platform to provide that for set fellows.
I remove cash the next 2 weeks. Remove cash for the next 2 weeks for the house. Don't worry. It's easy to just spend on the car. Blah, blah, blah. You don't know how much you spend. So you're taking the cash out.
appears we are hearing. How can
Thank
it
you.
No,
Thank
we need to
you.
cast the spirit of Sunday. That's cash for the card.
It's you too, you too, you too, you too.
how can
Spend
you,
because you're not part of my calculation now. So
your
What
whatever
is
mic?
is going on.
Thank you. Okay, so I was saying that
So don't
we
worry, you see.
collaboration. So as set fellows can collaborate with fellows to prepare their manuscripts. We have experience writing book chapters. They may not, but they have powerful stories to share also. So we want a situation where for each ICCP chapter, ICCP has 5 things for this project. SET has 10. For each of those 5 things, SET,
It's not knowledge.
Pasco, Ibere, Pasco, Ibere, Pasco, Ibere.
Whispers from Akan's table. So Akan's whispers are coming from your table. Why don't you can mute?
okay. So SET fellows can collaborate with ICCP fellows. Okay. So for each ICCP chapter on their own things, they have 5 things. 1, SET fellow can collaborate. So for each chapter, it is 1 ICCP fellow, 1 SET fellow. We also don't want a situation where SET fellows will just get on, on their chapters and just put their names and just walk away, and that's it. That's not collaboration. That's not the kind of strategic partnership we do here. If you're going to collaborate with an ICCP fellow, it has to be that one way or the other, you contributed to that person's journey, either during, before, during, or after, so that you too have something to add to that story, not just put your name on it. If before now, because if you have students right in front of you and you have not been able to collaborate with them, it means something is wrong. If before now you have not done that, and I'm going to share this particular story. There's a particular text fellow. She shared a story with us. She organized an event, a career event, and literally invited an ICCP fellow as a guest speaker. But the ICCP fellow that just took the program. That kind of collaboration is what we are looking for. We know that there are probably things still happening in other areas, people doing things. We may not have all the stories. It's the ones that, they share with us that we can easily make reference to. But this is an opportunity to have those kind of collaborations. We say you should be able to publish with a student. This is an opportunity to do that. So as you're positioning yourself as a career expert, as an entrepreneurial academic who is no longer a participant, who is now an expert, you are also in the position to mentor the young ones, including ICCP fellows. So helping them package their manuscript, guiding them, and ensuring that their stories also come out in a way that is publishable, that people can read in a book and be inspired. Young people looking for mentors, looking for role models, looking for people who have walked that journey that they want to walk is very important. So that is what we want to do with the collaborations. One set fellow, one ICP fellow for a particular chapter, but you can't collaborate with more than 2 people. We don't want too many. We have more students, more ICP fellows than set fellows. So we should be able to achieve some kind of balance. So how to submit your abstract? Most of the information has been provided in the document. We're already used to writing chapters. What we want to ensure is that first we have the abstract and we can assess to be sure that your stories meet the requirement for a particular thing. Once that is done, your full chapter comes in. We already included a template for the assessment, so you're sure of what we are looking out for. the goal, and so that you are scoring 5 on every dimension, and your story is good to go. We have coordinators from the first phase 1 still with us on phase 2. So they will be helping with institutional level organization. We also have contact persons on the project. Their names are listed in the documents that were sent to the various WhatsApp groups. Then a very important decision. So we decided that, you know what, you have your chapter titles, fine. But who says that you cannot have a window of, creative idea and a fantastic book title? If to suggest titles per theme. If you get the required number, we can decide that one theme equals one book, and therefore 10 book titles. If depending on what comes out of the whole exercise, if we find your title suitable enough, fantastic enough, and we're able to adapt or adopt it, then the package reward for that. All the information are contained in the document. I just want to quickly run through the whole thing. If there are any questions that we can sort out. Timelines, the important dates we need to bear in mind. All the dates have been listed, please. Publishing. Once you cross one stage, you move on to the next stage. This is not assignment on set. So we won't be able to, it's not opening and closing Google from this time around. Once we are done with a stage, we move on to the next stage and we move on to the next stage. Please, it's very important. We know we are very busy people, but if you feel that you want to do this, please try to regulate your timing and submit in good time. The publications team will also be working with time, and we should be mindful of that. Publication fees, there's no author fees for this one. You're not paying anything to publish. You also get free soft copies of the publications once they are ready. But hard copies, to get hard copies to you, there are logistics involved. So that one may involve some monies. But you can be rest assured that to get your stories published, to get access to the soft copy, it's at zero costs. Sharing on LinkedIn. Everything we do on this program, on this project, we talk about it. We are bold about it. We share our journeys, we share our transformations, we share our excitement. So it's the same thing for this phase. The only thing is, if you remember when we did excited about sets, we were sharing our expectations, what we hope to achieve, what we hope to get, how we think the whole thing will go, and things like that. So that's kind of thing we're going to be doing here. Publishing is a confidential enterprise. So we don't want people going on LinkedIn to reveal important information. You can't take content that you want to go and publish in a book and go and put it on LinkedIn. So we can't have that. Content that is confidential, content regarding your chapters, your titles, whatever you're submitting, whether as a file or in the Google form, should be confidential. What we can post on LinkedIn are our excitement, our expectations, our effort, how we, all those kind of things to get us in the mood to see that, we are working together, to get us excited about what we are doing, to get people inspired by our journeys, because this is not something you find anywhere. People don't do interventions and have this kind of thing. I don't know if you have been on a project and you did this kind of thing before. So it's something unique. So it's okay for us to share our stories, share our journeys, share our expectations. The hashtags we have to use, hashtag set, hashtag top 50, first 50, top 50 on sets. And then we have all the taggings that we should tag. You know that it's part of the core program. People are watching what we're doing. The funders are watching. Our universities are watching. The whole world is watching. So we need to tag the people, the organizations we should tag, the people we should tag, so that we're able to monitor what is going on. Monitoring is very key. The contact persons are there to provide extra support. The university coordinators are on ground, quite all right. Contact persons have also been included, just the same way we had coaches in phase 1. So we have contact persons that you can reach out to if you have any questions and something you want to quickly clarify. Please ensure that you are in close communication with these persons, your coordinators and your contact persons. And if you are collaborating with an ICCP fellow, it's very important. You people should work together. So basically, that's what it is. For the publications team, in phase 1, we got 41 expressions of interest for people who wanted to be part of the publications team, primarily from the intervention group. So the control group now has the opportunity. If you want to be part of the publications team, what we are doing there is we're going to be responsible for this particular phase, for the book publishing aspects. We're going to be reviewing the submissions and packaging everything. After this phase, we're going to then have a journal paper phase where we're going to be publishing journal papers from data from the projects. We're also going to be working in that phase. But for that one, you're going to be co-authors on those papers. So you're going to be putting those things together and publishing massively. If you want to be part of the publications team, your CV and expression of interest you get to me latest by Friday. That is the deadline. That date is in the documents that was sent to you. So it's not new information. Please, let us keep to time. It's very important. Benefits. We said reviewers are going to get certificate from Lancaster, they're going to get the UK accredited certificates. You have the first rights to be co-authors on the journal papers we'll be working on after this phase for the books. And then Dr. Kanimo Odon is giving complimentary copies of 2 of his powerful books that contain the principles of SET and ICCP. You can be a part of that. I think that's basically what it is. So if the communication is clear or you have questions, this is the time.
Thank you very much, Doc. That's absolutely fantastic. So guys, I'm going to leave it open to the room. So we're hoping that we can get some comments and some questions. So because we've shared the comprehensive document with everybody. So that was a few days ago. So today was is supposed to be to allow you to engage, to ask questions, to make comments, what you're thinking. So I open it to the room, please, so we can wrap it up. Any comments? Any questions?
Okay. Hi, Doc.
Okay.
I have I must say we've had such a fantastic time so far, and hearing out all the plans has been something else, and I'm sure it's a lot, to gain, intellectually and otherwise going forward. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to observe, because, for want of getting one thing done, we need to make sure we don't overwhelm a process. So I just wanted to be sure we had it. For example, Dr. Kanimo mentioned that we have a whole lot of information on ground already, rich, fresh, untouched information. Ideally, in a research framework, my hope was that we will put all those things into some context, but if we're going to gather more in the bid of, getting these stories, because a lot of the things, look at some very interesting things as mentioned, you had a very comprehensive evaluation process. This project is like it's a star project, and you already put all the questions in the prior evaluation in one way or another, in whichever way you can carve it out. They were all incorporated, which I'm sure forms part of huge intellectual source available already. The whole world right now is looking for outcomes. What are those immediate outcomes in terms of, if it's the books or whatever, journals or whatever it is? I'm now trying to, maybe I'm the only one that is trying to just get the clarity that we're not going to overwhelm the process by going into another phase of data collection. If you another phase of very serious data collection in name of stories, and all those things, which are in their own part very, very relevant. But in the research framework, I'm just wondering. So I just wanted to make sure we had that sort of consciousness, so that I know everybody is already on top of it. I can imagine that everybody is already ready to run, is already ready to go. I just wanted to be sure that, we mentioned based on the last comment, especially to be sure that we don't, you know, um, just I just wanted your views on if those things were put into consideration, so that the beauty of the first 3 or 2 phases will not be lost in the bit of trying to now get more information, and it will not be replicatory, it will not be duplicatory, and it will just be at least some fresh ideas, that can go. And when you are doing impact surveys, I mean, I don't know if it's up to 6 months since the last one, so I mean, just a couple of things. I just wanted to be sure we all had it in mind, and what your guide will be on that, in case anybody
Thank you
else
very
would
much.
have a feeling.
So that's a really good point, and you're very correct. So that actually is the case. So what I mean is, um, we are running both parallelly. So part of the engagement we are now having with the universities, like our visits, which I'll talk to in a minute, is actually getting different coordinators and vice chancellors to help support the nominations of actual writers of those papers from the data of the pilot. Does that make sense? Because somebody needs to write. And if I think I've had a few chat already with a few folks on this call, just to say we need to get a few papers published right away. And that will be the case. I'll be having those conversations anyway. Now, the difference is the fact that what we are doing in this phase for this specific communication actually is not the core thrust of phase two. Communications and publication isn't the core thrust of phase two. I think I mentioned this during the coordinators meeting. The core thrust is actually the institutional alignment, the national alignment, but also the empowering of institutions to deliver it on their own. That's the core thrust. So what we're just doing is the fact that many people who already have stories, so these are not new stories, which they publish already on LinkedIn. So we're just adding an extra layer to just say, how about we give a bit more structure? So just rewrite those stories you already have in a kind of a format that is publishable in a book or in a journal of some sort. That's what we are doing now. But it doesn't remove the fact that it's actually running concurrently. The publication of document or communication of outcomes from the data already gathered is ongoing already. So it's part of the engagement we are having, and it also forms part of why we are beginning the travels. And by the way, for the traveling, because of the nature of the traveling, we've split it into two. So I can imagine most of you might have seen that we're visiting some universities in a few weeks' time, literally this weekend and next week. That's the first phase. Then the second phase will now be the rest of the university. So that has been split nicely to make it easy for the ease of traveling. And I think I've also engaged with the coordinators for that in itself. So that is happening, and that's part of the conversation. Because at the end of the day, it is actually those that were participants in the pilot, and even those who were not in some cases, but are willing and able to actually write the papers. It is not a joke writing papers. It requires some commitment in that sense. So, but which is why this one is easier, because we are saying if you already have a story, you can write the story. But when it comes to a paper, a story is not the same as a paper. It's two different. That's two different levels of engagement. A story is a bit more generic with a bit of a structure to it, but a paper requires a bit more technical skill, which requires some expertise. So, and the second point is that realize that not many people who were participants can be involved as co-authors on papers. But opening this up means we can have a lot more co-authors on these stories or the books of these stories. So it's actually an inclusion strategy. to make it easy for folks to be published, but in the form of the stories of impact that they've achieved. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Mina?
Yes, sir. I didn't know I was muted. I just unmuted now. Yes, I was responding.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So because I want to be able to say at the end of the project, instead of saying, well, 20 people were co-authors of papers, it's nicer to say 100 people were co-authors of publications communications. That's a much nicer way. And this is the reason why we are emphasizing this, but it doesn't disrupt the process of getting those data sets published officially through partnerships at an institutional level with the university partners. Yeah. Any other questions? I already can see we are way past an hour now, so let's try and wrap it up. Any questions or comments quickly before we go? Oh, thank you. How do we reach the ICCP students? So we've already posted. We imagine most of them still have their numbers on the official original WhatsApp groups, which is the reason why we are using those WhatsApp groups. And in some sense, we can only do as much as we can just to ensure as much as possible participants from the ICCP are also co-authors on these proposed books, co-authors of chapters on these proposed books. But that is the best we can. Because I guess the trouble with the fact is the fact that some of those ICCP students were final year students at the time, and they've graduated now and are moving on. So as much as possible, we have to just try and make the opportunity available based on the current WhatsApp groups, which still have the numbers of those guys on it. I hope that responds to your question. Okay, I'm going to call on Professor Semple to do a quick wrap up for us, and then we can call it a day. You're going to get a bit more information as since progresses, because as you can imagine, this phase 2 is multi-pronged, and so we are doing different things at the same time. But obviously, we're trying to engage you within the elements of relevance as to how you can help and support us to actually move it forward. So, Professor Semple, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Akan, and thank you everyone for sticking with us on the. We're now, as Akan said, over the hour, and it's been a long day, of course. So thank you again, and just to reiterate what I said at the start. I mean, the success of what we're trying to do collectively doesn't lie with Dr. Viola, Dr. Akan, or myself. Actually, it lies with you and working together, working with us to help deliver, the aims and objectives of this second phase of the project. And it is very, very exciting because nothing like this has ever been done before. And for me, that's incredibly exciting. And to add to the excitement, as Akan has already mentioned, we are traveling to Nigeria at the weekend, and we'll be visiting, in this first trip, a number of universities, meeting with vice chancellors and other colleagues, to drive home the ambition and get the support, of course, not and the courtesy to meet with the senior leaders of your universities, and to, of course, answer any questions that they may have as well. So on that note, there's a lot to do. Looking very much forward to this, meeting as many of you as possible in person in the coming weeks. So that's all for me, really. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Bye for now. Back to you, Dr. Akan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Much appreciated. And Professor Shingo, absolutely. The recording will be made available to everybody by tomorrow morning. So just so you can maybe broadcast it a bit further to your different staff members who couldn't make the call today. So yes, that will be done tomorrow. On that note, have a lovely evening, everybody, and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Everyone, thank you. Bye.
Bye.